Right now at noon, a second man has died as a result from last week's Highway 166 crash in Baxter Springs.
And we have a few showers on the radar down to the south. I'll let you know what that means, as well as the weekend forecast in Maine weather in just a little bit.
Plus, we take a look at how the UAW strikes are affecting workers right here in the 4 states.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. We begin today's broadcast with an update on the story we brought you earlier this week regarding the Baxter Springs crash between a semi and a pickup. Jeffrey P. Lansaw, age 54 of Galena, passed away on Wednesday, September 20th at Freeman West Hospital of Joplin following injuries sustained in the automobile accident. The crash occurred on Highway 166 west of Baxter Springs at 6 p.m. on Friday, September 15th. Authorities say both vehicles were traveling east down Highway 166 with the pickup in front of the semi behind. Jeffrey Lansaw was driving the pickup with his friend Jeffrey Shappington in the passenger seat. The pickup had slowed down and began to make a left turn when the semi attempted to pass on the left lane and struck the pickup. The driver of the pickup, Jeffrey Lansaw, was taken to the Freeman Hospital in Joplin with serious injuries. He passed away from those injuries 6 days later. His passenger, 58-year-old Jeffrey Shappington of Quapaw, Oklahoma, was killed on the scene. The driver of the semi, 50-year-old Petco Kirov of Glenview, Illinois, was not hurt in the accident. The St. Louis County Police Department is searching for a man who escaped custody at Mercy Hospital South. Lindbergh Schools announced that it was implementing lockout procedures this morning in response to the escaped inmate. The school is still in session, however, exterior doors will remain locked and additional security is in place during student arrival. Outside, police are searching inside cars and drones could be seen hovering over a parking lot. According to a release, the escape was reported at 4:30 a.m. in the 10,000 block of Kennerly Road. 45-year-old Tommy Wayne Boyd has been identified as the inmate who escaped custody at the hospital. He was transported to Mercy Hospital South from the Potosi Correctional Facility on Wednesday for treatment. He was last seen just before 4 a.m. Thursday by hospital personnel. Surveillance video shows Boyd leaving the hospital on foot, traveling in an unknown direction. Boyd is described as 5'7", 154 pounds, with balding hair and a beard. He was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black jacket, and orange slippers. He should be considered dangerous, and it is unknown if he is armed. Boyd is serving a 30-year sentence in the Missouri Department of Corrections for statutory sodomy. Anyone seeing Boyd should immediately call 911, and residents are urged to be aware of their surroundings.
We have a few showers on radar right now, but they're not really big. Right now in northern Craig County, just west of Hollow and Cocklebur Flat, also west of Welch, a little thunder shower there. Also a few showers developing around downstream Casino at the Turnpike entrance, and that extends also down towards the eastern part of Craig County. We're going to see these showers mainly to the south today, but as we head into the overnight hours, we're going to see more scattered showers and storms developing across our area, with temperatures dropping from the 80s this afternoon down to the 70s and all the way down to 64 by morning. And looking down the lane, we have those patchy morning fog is now starting to burn off, partly cloudy this afternoon, then storms developing later tonight and tomorrow morning, and a better chance of storms Saturday night into Sunday morning. And some of those storms could be severe with all kinds of threats. And of course, I'll spell all that out for you in the forecast coming up in just a little bit. Caitlin?
Both General Motors and Stellantis announced layoffs Wednesday as UAW members continue to walk the picket line at 3 facilities. GM laid off around 2,000 workers at its Fairfax assembly plant in Kansas, while Stellantis laid off 68 employees at a machining plant in Ohio and will likely lay off an estimated 300 other workers at factories in Indiana. These layoffs come as the strike nears the 1-week mark, with more employees potentially joining the picket line. If there isn't serious progress made in negotiations before noon Friday, UAW President Shawn Fain said more workers will be called on to strike. Right now, employees at the Ford Michigan Assembly Plant in Wayne, the Stellantis Toledo Assembly Complex in Ohio, and the GM Wentzville Assembly Plant in Missouri are striking. The UAW is holding a stand-up strike, meaning that some workers started striking and more could be added if negotiations are not going favorably for the union. This is a strategy to keep automakers guessing as they don't know which plants will strike next. Fain is expected to announce the next striking facilities at 10 a.m. on Friday. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in the 4 states region. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is making the rounds on Capitol Hill, lobbying for additional U.S. assistance to help fight Russia. And later, we're making Greek Isles roasted chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Stay tuned. A truck driver is dead after being shot by a highway patrol trooper during a traffic stop in Stroud, Oklahoma. It happened yesterday morning on the Turner Turnpike. Authorities say the trooper had pulled the driver of the semi-trailer over, and the two got into an altercation. The trooper then opened fire. State Highway Patrol officials say they don't know why the driver was stopped or whether he had a weapon. They say the driver wasn't hauling anything and didn't have a trailer. And Ukraine's president is visiting Washington today, trying to convince lawmakers to continue supporting his country in its fight against Russia. The visit comes as Congress considers President Biden's request for another $24 billion in military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine. But a growing number of Republicans are pushing back against the additional aid. Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is making the rounds on Capitol Hill, lobbying for additional U.S. assistance to help fight Russia. During his last visit in December of 2022, a joint session of Congress gave him a warm welcome. But since then, divisions have grown. Some Republicans are pushing back against President Biden's request for an additional $24 billion in military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine.
They need to make the case for Ukraine. If they have a strategy to win, let's hear it. If they have a strategy to actually end this conflict, let's hear it.
Other Republican lawmakers remain firmly in Ukraine's corner, arguing this is about defending democracy.
If you let Putin get away with this, you better get ready to fight China and Taiwan. And if you're not willing to do that, you're going to have a world where chaos reigns.
President Biden will welcome Zelensky to the White House this afternoon. Aides say the face-to-face meeting is an opportunity for the president to get a battlefield perspective.
Zelensky is also meeting with U.S. military leaders, his first visit to the Pentagon since the war in Ukraine began. The Biden administration says his trip to the U.S. comes at a critical time, given Russia's outreach to countries like North Korea and on the heels of new strikes in Ukraine overnight. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Zelensky's visit also comes amid a looming government shutdown. Lawmakers are trying to work out a bill to keep the federal government funded after the end of this month. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has said Ukraine funding should be debated as a standalone bill, not tied to funding the government. And a major move in immigration by the Biden administration. The president is granting temporary legal status to nearly 500,000 Venezuelan migrants who are already in the U.S. Manuel Barraraz is in El Paso, where officials are seeing more than 1,800 migrants a day.
You are at a crisis level here.
I would say yes.
John Martin is deputy director of the shelter in El Paso. He says the inflow of migrants has been increasing for weeks.
All of the downtown shelters are all working over capacity. We simply don't want to say no.
At another migrant support center, even the floor is welcome refuge for Marjorie Hernandez and Carlos Mota and their 2 small children. It took them 2 months to make the more than 3,000-mile trek from Venezuela to Texas.
There is work, but you can't make ends meet.
As first reported by CBS News, the Biden administration is granting temporary legal status to more than 470,000 Venezuelan migrants already in the U.S. The move promises to speed up their approvals for work permits that could potentially ease the pressure on states to provide services such as housing to tens of thousands of migrants.
I anticipate, unfortunately, that we'll continue to see these increases on a daily basis.
Near Eagle Pass, Texas this week, more than 5,000 people streamed through in a day. The influx prompted the mayor to sign an emergency declaration, while in Arizona, hundreds were detained, some in makeshift cages. The influx is also being felt in states thousands of miles away.
Don't try to send people.
In New York, migrant arrivals have divided the city. Officials say $2 billion has been spent since last year to house more than 100,000 migrants bused to the city. Many asylum seekers told us waiting in Mexico was not a viable option.
In your view, Mexico is just too unsafe. Muy peligroso allí para usted y su familia.
Es horrible.
On Wednesday, the Defense Department said it would send an additional 800 active duty servicemen and women to the border to supplement the 2,500 who are already here. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, El Paso.
Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
If you have an air fryer and still haven't used it for anything more than cooking frozen French fries, then you're in for a treat. Today's recipe is a real game changer.
We have scattered showers developing on radar, but it's just a portent of things to come. I'll tell you all about it when we come back from the break. Well, we have a few showers starting to develop in and around the metro area right now, and it's only a sense of things to come. As we start to head towards the weekend, we're going to see more scattered showers and storms. But first, let's look down in Seneca, Missouri, to Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see some disturbed weather in the background, a few showers as well down that way. And right now in Joplin, you see the shower looking off towards the south and west. It's 80 degrees right now with the south wind at 8 and the dew point is 63 and the humidity at 56%. Meanwhile, over in Pittsburgh, it's 82 degrees with a south wind at 7, humidity at 54%. Traffic moving along pretty nicely over there. Here's a look at radar over the last few hours. You can see these just isolated showers popping up here and there across the area. Most of this is going to be from Joplin southward during the day. Zooming in on some of the activity, you can see over near Columbus, down towards Galena, into the Loma Linda area, and also a few showers over near Centralia, and also just to the north and east of Veneta. And we're going to see these pop-up showers as we go through the afternoon, again, mainly in our southern section. Temperatures right now are in the upper 70s to low 80s, 81 in Miami, 79 in Anderson, as well as Neosho, 77 in Independence, and 79 over there in Monette. All right, let's take a look at the rain chances. As we go through the day, we'll have a low chance of showers, but notice as we go through the overnight hours, showers and thunderstorms are expected to increase, and so we'll see the rain chances dramatically increase over the overnight hours. And as we go into the upper level flow, you can see that one disturbance coming over us tonight, that will move away, but then a bigger storm system is going to be pulling out into the plains on Saturday, dragging with it this cold front. And because the winds aloft are strong, the surface temperatures are warm, lots of moisture, all the ingredients are coming together for a potential severe weather event across our region, extending all the way up into western Iowa and down into central Oklahoma. Then on Sunday, that sweeps through, and we start to get some drier air moving in from the west just in time for the beginning of the work week. Here's a look at the Severe Storm Prediction Center's outlook. You can see it stretches all the way from eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, through eastern Kansas, down into northeastern Oklahoma, and of course that includes all of our area as we go into Saturday evening. And the risks are all of them. There's the possibility of some tornadoes, large hail, high wind, and certainly the possibility of heavy rain. In fact, that's the highest risk that we have to deal with. And looking at the rainfall amounts for tonight, we're looking at generally around 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch in some isolated areas. But as we go into Saturday, look at the rainfall amounts. The models are still debating as to where this axis is going to set up. This morning it looked like the axis was further south. Now it looks like it's further north. So if you split the difference, and that goes right across southeastern Kansas and southwestern Missouri. In some places could pick up almost 4 inches of rain in some isolated spots. And we certainly need the rainfall to help with the drought situation. This afternoon, scattered showers mainly along and south of I-44 with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. And then as we go into tonight, more scattered showers and storms developing across the area with lows in the 60s. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, scattered showers and storms with temperatures in the upper 70s and lower 80s. And then on Saturday morning, strong south winds bringing up the moisture, and we start to see some scattered showers up towards the north with lows only in the 70s. And over the next 7 days, as we go into Saturday afternoon and evening, possible alert day due to the severe weather threat. And then as we go into Sunday, that starts to shift towards the east, and then drier for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then more scattered showers on Thursday and Friday of next week.
All right, bring on that rain, huh?
Yes, bring it on. We need it.
Absolutely. Well, stick around because we're making Greek Isles roasted chicken in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
Yummy.
We'll be right back. It's time to check in with Howard and the Mr. Food Kitchen staff. Today he's tossing the flavors of grease into your trusty air fryer to deliver this fine dining dish. It's called Greek Isles roasted chicken. Take a look.
If you have an air fryer, you're either in love with it Or you bought it and haven't used it for cooking anything more than frozen French fries. And if you don't have one, what the heck are you waiting for? Air fryers are one of the fastest growing kitchen appliances on the market. In fact, here in the test kitchen, we use ours to make everything from freshly baked cookies to crispy chicken wings. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a Greek-inspired main dish recipe from our latest air fryer cookbook. Here we have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs that we marinated in a mixture we made by combining some olive oil, lemon juice, garlic, oregano, and a little salt and pepper. Now, we place the chicken in an air fryer and set the timer. As it cooks, the hot air swirls around the chicken, browning the outside while keeping the inside super juicy. Once it's done, we finish it with some sliced Greek olives and crumbled feta. Not only is this fast, but like with all recipes cooked in the air fryer, you can place the basket in the dishwasher, so cleanup's a breeze. The recipe for our Greek Isles roasted chicken is online now, just in time for dinner this week. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an easy air-fried way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
To find this recipe, along with many others, just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and click on Mr. Food. Now here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
We have scattered showers out there right now, but the rain is going to be increasing as we go into the overnight hours with a 40% chance of that. And then tomorrow, we're looking at partly cloudy with a high of 80 and better chance of storms on Saturday. And some of those could be severe. Of course, Doug this evening will decide whether we're going to have an alert day on that. But right now, it's looking like we're going to have to keep a close eye on it.
All right, thank you. And what do you have for us this evening?
Well, a lot coming up at 5. For starters, more than 55 million people are suffering from the degenerative and incurable brain disease, Alzheimer's. But scientists say this is an exciting time with real progress being made. Clinical trials showed 2 drugs, now seeking regulatory approval, were able to slow the progress of the disease, and scientists say others which show promise are in development. Plus, as summer comes to a close, virus season is just beginning. We're going to hear from a Mercy Hospital infection doctor about different viruses. And Pineville Elementary students dive into underwater learning with their adopted sea turtle. Hope you join us. KOAM News at 5.
All right, well, that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. Have a great rest of your day, 4 States.